Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate 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 Vasudevaya.
Nayanam namaskritya naham chaiva nahodamam Devim sarvatim vyasam tato jayamudhirayat. For reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan, and to Narayan, which is the supremest human being, to Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Shri Vyasadeva, the author. Nastapadeshu Apadeshu Nityam Bhagavati Sevaya Bhagavati Uttameshloke Bhakti Bhagavati Naishtiki. Today we are reading from the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Second canto is entitled The Cosmic Manifestation, and I'm getting old, so what is in classes? We are reading from text 17. We can repeat after me, one Sanskrit word at a time. Jayam,
Jayam,
Gunai,
Gunai,
Avaraja,
Avaraja,
Api,
Api,
Adite,
Adite,
Sutanam,
Sutanam,
Lokan,
Lokan,
Vichakrame,
Vichakrame,
Imam,
Imam,
Yat,
Yat,
Ata,
Ata,
Adiyagya,
Adhyagya,
Smam,
Sam,
Vamanena,
Vamanena,
Jagriye,
Jagrihe,
Tripada,
Tripada,
Shalena,
Salena,
Yakshnam,
Yachnam,
Vite,
Vite,
Paticharan,
Praticharan,
Prabhubi,
Prabhupi,
Na,
Na,
Chalya,
Chalya,
Jayam Guner Avarajo Pyadite Sutanam
Jayam Gunera Varajo Pyadite Sutanam
Lokam Vichakrama Imam Yadata Dhyayam
Lokam Vichakrama Imanya Data Diyagya
Smam Vamanena Jagrite Tripada Chalena
Mam Vamanena Jagrihe Tripada Chalena
Yachnam Vite Paticharam Prabhubir Nacharya
Yashnam Vite Paticharam Prabhuvir Nacharya
Yayam Gunera Vajao Pyadite Sutanam
Jayam Gunera Varajo Pyadite Sutanam
Lokyam Vichakrama Imam Ya Adi Dhyaya Lokyam Vichakrama Imam Yana Atta Dhyayam
Lokan Vichakrama Iman Yadata Diyagya
Shmam Vamanena Jagriye Tripada Chalena
Swam Vamanena Jagrihe Tripada Chalena
Yachnam Vite Paticharam Prabhubir Nacharya
Yachnam Vite Paticharam Prabhuvir Nacharya
Jayam Gunera Vajo Pyadite Sutanam
Jayam Gunera Varajo Pyadite Sutanam
Lokan Vichakamam Imam Yanata Yayagya
Lokan vichakramaiman yadata diyagya.
Shmam vamanena jagriye tripada chalena.
Shmam vamanena jagrihe trivada chalena.
Yachnam vite paticharam prabhubir nacharya.
Yachnam vite paticharam prabhubhir nachalya. Jayan gunera varajopyadite sutanam.
Jayam gunera vahajo parite sutanam.
Lokan vichakramaiman yadata diyagya.
Lokam vichakramahimam yadat atadiyagya.
Shmam vamanena jagrihe tripada chalena.
Shmam vamanena chakriye tripada chalena.
Yachnam rite paticharam prabhubhir nachalya.
Yachnam vite padicharam prabhubir nacharya. Someone else would like to chant?
Yayan gunera varajopyadite sutanam.
Yayam gunera vajopyadite sutanam.
Lokan vichakrama iman adiyagya.
Lokam vichakramahimam yadatayasa. Yeah.
Shmam vamanena jagrihe tripada chalena.
Shmam vamanena jagrihe tripada chalena.
Yachnam rite paticharan prabhubhir nachalya.
Yachnam rite paticharam prabhubhir nachalya.
Yajyam gunir avaja pi adita sutana.
Yayam gunera varajopyadite sutanam.
Lokan vichakrama iman yadata diyagya.
Lokam vichakramaiman yadata diyagya.
Yasman mananena chagra vipada chalena.
Shmam
Vamanena jagrihe tripada chalena.
Yashnam viti paticharan prabhuir nachalya.
Yachnam rite paticharam prabhubhir nachalya.
Jayan,
Yayan,
the greatest,
The greatest,
Gune,
Gunai,
by qualities,
by qualities,
Avaraja,
Avaraja,
transcendental,
transcendental,
happy,
happy,
also is so,
although he is so,
Adite,
Adite,
of Aditi,
of Aditi,
Sutanam,
Sutanam,
of all the sons,
of all the sons,
known as Adityas,
known as Aditya,
Lokan,
Lokan,
all the planets,
all the planets,
Vichakrami,
Vichakram,
surpassed,
surpassed,
Iman,
Iman,
in the universe,
in the universe,
Yat,
Yet,
one who,
one who,
Atta,
Atta,
therefore,
therefore,
Adikyagya, the
Adiyagya,
Supreme Personality of Godhead,
the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
Smam,
Swam,
all the lands,
all the lands,
Vamanena,
Vamanena,
in the incarnation of Vamana,
in the incarnation of Vamana,
Jagriye,
Jagriya,
accepted,
accepted,
Tripada,
Vipada,
three-step,
three-step,
Chalena,
Chalena,
by
by
pretension,
pretension,
Yachnam,
Yachnam,
begging,
begging,
Viti,
Rite,
without,
without,
Paticharan,
Paticharan,
passing over the right path,
passing over the right path,
Prabhubi,
Prabhubi,
by authorities,
by authorities,
now,
Na,
never to be,
never to be,
Charya,
Chalya,
to be bereft of.
to be bereft of.
Translation. The Lord, also transcendental to all material mode, still surpassed all the qualities of the son of Aditi, known as Adityas. The Lord appeared as the youngest son of Aditi, and because he surpassed all the planets of the universe, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. On the pretense of asking for a measurement of 3 footsteps of land, he took away all the lands of Bali Maharaj. He asked simply because without begging, no authority can take one's rightful possession. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The history of Bali Maharaj and his charity to Vamanadev is described in the 8th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Bali Maharaj conquered all the planets of the universe by rightful possession. A king can conquer other kings by strength. Such possession is considered to be rightful. So Bali Maharaj possessed all the lands of the universe, and he happened to be charitably disposed towards the Brahmanas. The Lord therefore pretended to be a beggar Brahman, and he asked Bali Maharaj for a measurement of 3 footsteps of land. The Lord, as a proprietor of every king, could take from Bali Maharaj all the land he possessed, but he did not do so because Bali Maharaj possessed all those lands by king's rights. When Bali Maharaj was asked by Lord Vamana for such a small charity, Bali Maharaj's spiritual master, namely Sukracharya, objected to this proposal because he knew that Vamanadev was Vishnu himself, pretending to be a beggar. Bali Maharaj did not agree to abide by the order of his spiritual master when he understood that the beggar was Vishnu himself, and he at once agreed to give him in charity the land requested. By this agreement, Lord Vamana covered all the land of the universe with his first 2 steps, and then Bali Maharaj were to place the 3rd step, and then asked Bali Maharaj where to place the 3rd step. Bali Maharaj was very glad to receive the Lord's remaining step upon his head, and thus Bali Maharaj, instead of losing everything he possessed, was blessed by the Lord's becoming his constant companion and doorman. So by giving everything to the cause of the Lord, one does not lose anything, but he gained everything that he could never otherwise expect. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyanajala Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobistam Shtapitam Yena Bhutale Swayamupam Kadayamayam Datati Swapadam Tikam Vandeham Shigu Shuyuta Padakamalam Shigu Vaishnavam Sham Shri Rupa Sagajatam Sagana Ragudatam Vitam Tam Chajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saita Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kamta Radha Kamta Namostute Tapta Kamshana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishavanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpata Ubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Sarasvati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paskacha Jatarini Hare Krishna The Lord, also transcendental to all material modes, still surpassed all the qualities of the sons of Aditi, known as the Adityas. The Lord appeared as the youngest son of Aditi, and because he surpassed all the planets of the universe, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. On the pretense of asking for a measurement of 3 footsteps of land, he took away all the lands of Bali Maharaj. He asked simply because without begging, no authority can take one's rightful possession. Hare Krishna, so many points in Prabhupada's purport, so many learning lessons in this pastime of the Lord and his pure devotee Bali Maharaj. And this is very remarkable how the pastime of the Lord always glorify a devotee, or not always, but most of the time. The Lord appeared, and he appeared, and it's to glorify his devotee, or it's a very specific pastime with his devotee, like Prahlad Maharaj glorifying by Nishangadev's appearance. And then when we sing Jayana Madhava, we can see it's like Radha and Krishna, or Krishna and the Gopis, or Krishna Govardhan Hill, Krishna Mother Yashoda, and the residence of Raja. So the Lord of a special desire and pleasure in glorifying his devotees. And he said that Krishna is a lot more pleased when we serve his devotees and glorify his devotees than when we glorified him. And himself glorifies devotees in so many ways. So here, the story goes back that Bali Maharaj is the grandson of Prahlad Maharaj, his son of Virochana, I think. And he was very, very inclined towards the Brahman, and he will regularly please the Brahman. And he said that he did some sacrifice to please Bhrigu Maharaj, Bhrigupati, Bhrigu Maharaj. And then by such doing, he got blessed in so many ways. Got blessed by his strength. He got blessed with a chariot that was very powerful. He got blessed in so many ways. And because of all this blessing he received by worshipping the Brahmans and by giving in charity to the Brahman, he got so much strength that when he went to attack the demigods, because there is eternal pastime between the demons and the demigods, their brother, sons of Kashyapa Muni. So naturally, like at that time, the demigods had the upper hand. Lord Indra was in Indra Loka, and they had the upper hand. And when Bali Maharaj got so powerful by his charity to the Brahmana, then he went to Indra Loka and he went to conquer land of the upper planetary system from his strength. And then the demigod could see, oh, he's stronger than us right now. And they went to their spiritual master, Brihaspati, who is the spiritual master of the demigod, and they asked what to do. How do we fight? How do we protect ourselves? And Brihaspati said, oh, you don't have the strength to protect yourselves. Go hide. And so all the demigods, they went hiding. And then Bali Maharaj and then the demons, they came to the heavenly planet, and they did kind of took over the heavenly planet. And when all that happened, Aditi, the mother of the demigods, she began to lament, very lament, and she kind of was so morose and lamenting, and she couldn't see her sons. Her sons were not glorified anymore. They were not shiny like she. And so she lost all her luster, and she lost all her motivation to do anything. And then her husband, Kashyapa Muni, came, and he came out of his meditation. He came to the ashram, and he could see like things were not kept properly. He could see that there was no Shakti in the ashram. Her Shakti had left. And so he asked, what's happening? What's happening? Why are you in such a state? Why the ashram is in such a state? And Aditi explained, like, I'm not seeing my son anymore. They are hiding to not be seen, because Bali Maharaj and the demons are so powerful that my son are just reduced to be in a hiding place. And it was very painful for the mother of the demigods. And then Kashyapa Muni, what he did, he instructed her in the science of detachment, self-realization. He spent a lot of time teaching her self-realization, detachment. You're not this body, you know, like you're not, you know, those family or relationship. And he really supported her. But even after she heard from Kashyapa Muni and she did a lot of advancement in self-realization, she was still morose. She was still, it's not enough. So at that time, Kashyapa Muni said, okay, so you need to go to Vishnu. Because, you know, you need to go to Vishnu and appeal to Vishnu about what's happening with your son. And then he gave her a specific austerity sacrifice she can do for 12 days. It's called Priyavrata. Yeah. So, and she did. She fasted and she did so much austerity. And then the Lord appeared before her. And then he asked, what do you want? And he said, I want you to appear as my son. And then deliver my other sons. And so he appeared as the Lord Vishnu. And then Kashyapa Muni could understand that Lord Vishnu had entered him in his semen. And then it said that his wife, it wasn't automatic, his wife served her husband. And by serving her husband, then he agreed to give his semen and to implant the Lord himself in Aditi. And it's when Aditi was pregnant, and it said that a lot of personality came and really worshipped her. And then she, when she gave birth, Lord Vishnu again came as Lord Vishnu, and then to show himself, his beauty, his forearm form, Vishnu in yellow garments and all that. And then he presented himself as a dwarf Brahman, and his name is Vamana. And Vamana Dev is described as the most beautiful incarnation of the Lord. He's a plenary portion of the Lord, and is known for his beauty. When I hold form of Vamana Dev, it's an extraordinary beauty. He is small, and when he appears, he will receive a deer skin from earth, and he received from his mother, he received a belt, he received so many ornaments. You can see him here. He is so beautiful. He received so many ornaments when so many personality came and gave him like an umbrella. I don't remember, maybe Sarasvati gave him an umbrella. Anyway, extremely attractive personality. So he came in the form of the Brahman dwarf. So it is said that in the purport, as he said, that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he owns everything. All the planetary system, all the universes. So he could have very easily taken everything from Bali Maharaj. Okay, I'm taking it away, I give it back to the demigods. He had the power, and in a sense, he had the authority of doing that. And in a purport, Prabhupada explained that because Bali Maharaj, he got his strength, and he rightly conquered his enemy. He rightly conquered land. Then because he did that, it would have been improper for the Lord to just take it away from him. So the Lord, when the Lord appeared, he fulfilled so many action. So of course he wanted to support Aditi. He was responding to Aditi's lamentation because she had lost her sons, but also he didn't want to do that in a way that will be betraying of the agreements or the blessings that Brigu gave to Bali Maharaj, also without deteriorating the regulative principle, the religious principle, and also the regulative principle that a righteous, if someone work for something and acquire it, even so, of course the Lord can take it. He didn't want to deteriorate this kingship rule and regulation of kingship, that a king who doesn't steal, but really rightly conquered land, then it will not have been appropriate. So Lord Vamanadeva came in the form of a dwarf to beg from the king, because he knew the king was very inclined towards the Brahman. That's what got him all his powers, because he was inclined, so much inclined to the Brahman. So Prabhupada gives that point that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he had the power to do whatever he wants. And from that we can learn, like, even if we are in a position of authority, to not misuse our power of authority to take away what's not ours, or to use that power for personal gain. So there is clearly the Lord here is like showing us that there is always other ways than misuse of power in order to rectify the situation. It was a difficult situation to not have the demigods inhabiting their planets and doing their duties because they were hiding. And Srila Prabhupada make different points like that. Vamana, after he received all those gifts from so many personalities, then he went to the sacrificial arena where Bali Maharaj was performing sacrifice. And then when he arrives there, everyone, all the priests, everyone, they saw the beautiful Brahman, and they all fell like on the floor and offered obeisances, including Bali Maharaj. And then Bali Maharaj, he gave all his attention to Vamana, because Vamana again was so effulgent, beautiful, that anyone who could see him was naturally attracted, and that's included Bali Maharaj. And Bali Maharaj, he turned his attention to his, he didn't continue his sacrifice. He turned all his attention to Vamana, and he said, he glorified him, and he said, what can I give you? What can I offer you? He said, I have the exact word here. What we may do for you. And then he started to glorify his beauty and the Brahmans. And then after he said, whatever you want, you may take from me. Whatever you want, you may take from me. So it was a clever way for the Lord to reclaim everything Bali Maharaj had conquered. It was a clever way for the Lord to do that. And then Vamanadev, he asked, he's a Brahman, so he doesn't need much. Like Prabhupada extensively purports on that part of the Bhagavatam in the 8th canto about being satisfied with what's come in his own accord, to not put any extraneous endeavor to have more than what we need, to put that energy towards cultivating Krishna consciousness and letting go of getting more than we need. So Vamanadev, I just asked for 3 pieces of land that can fit under his feet. So Bali Maharaj was like, what? I can give you gold, I can give you land, I can give you villages, I can give you wives, I can give you so many things. What? Ask for something that's really, like, I'm so happy to give you 3 pieces of land, it's nothing. And then his spiritual master, Sukracharya, the spiritual master of the demons, he said, like, don't do that, don't give him what he wants. Because Sukracharya, even though he's a demon, is a spiritual master of the demons, he had the power to recognize that Vamanadev was Lord Vishnu himself, which is really interesting. And the false spiritual master, what do? False spiritual master, what they do, they take us away from Krishna. They take us away from the absolute truth. That's their goal. The false spiritual master, instead of directing us towards Vishnu, they find a way to, even a clever way, to direct us away from Vishnu, away from giving ourselves to Vishnu, giving everything to Krishna. And the interesting part in that pastime also is that Bali Maharaj, he remembers that he already committed to Vamanadev that he will give him whatever Vamanadev wanted. And it is said that even the earth cannot tolerate a lie. The earth cannot tolerate a lie, and lie is really sinful to lie. And so for a righteous king to not keep his agreement would have been very destructive of his role as a king. So Bali Maharaj, he went against his spiritual master. He went against his spiritual masters. Here again, I remember once I was speaking with a person who was really loyal to their spiritual master. Even their spiritual master was not bringing them to Krishna, but because they were making their loyalty to their spiritual master more important than their spiritual lives. They could see that the absolute truth was worship of Bhagavan, worship, like the absolute truth was contained into the process of devotional service, bhakti yoga. However, because of their loyalty to their spiritual masters, that was getting in the way. So here Bali Maharaj is giving a great example of that really to connect with what's most essential to spiritual life, which is to surrender everything to the personality of Godhead. So Bali Maharaj didn't listen to his spiritual master Sukracharya. He didn't listen. He said, okay, I'm going to give you those 3 paths. And then at that moment, when Bali Maharaj did that, the Lord expanded himself in his universal form. He expanded itself. And then he took his first step. And with his first step, it covered Earth, and it covers all the lower planetary system. And with his arm and everything, he covered the sky. He covered practically everything with his first step. And then he took his second step, and in his second step, he covered all the upper planetary system, and he even crossed beyond the universe and pierced the universe. And that's when the Viraj River, part of the Viraj River, started to flow and became the Ganges River. And that's also like the Lord does so many things. And when he did take his second step of Vamanadev, at the same time he was blessing Bali Maharaj, supporting Aditi, bringing back the demigods in their righteous place. He was also blessing the whole universe, the whole inhabitants of the universe, through creating that all their sinful activity could be washed away by the presence of the Ganges River. So again, the Lord was doing so many things. And then at that time, like Bali Maharaj had lost everything. He lost all his land, he lost the universe, he lost all his power, he lost everything. And the demons started to jump on Vamanadev, wanted to kill him. And Bali Maharaj stopped them. He stopped them, and then all those the demons were sent to the lower planetary system. And then Garuda came on the place, and they said, okay, well, they arrested Bali Maharaj because he couldn't fulfill his vow of three steps. He only gave 2, and he had nothing else to give. And then when Bali Maharaj was there, he said, he kind of surrendered fully to the Lord. And he said, please put your 3rd step on my head. So Bali Maharaj, he didn't care to lose everything. So that's the end of the purport. Srila Prabhupada said, so by giving everything to the cause of the Lord, one does not lose anything, but gain everything that he could never otherwise expect. So by Bali Maharaj, he had lost all his kingdom, all his wealth, everything, and he was ready to lose himself. So Bali Maharaj, because of that, is known as one of the Mahajan. and that represents Atman Vedanam, like one of the process of devotional service is to give everything, Atma, to give everything to the Lord. And Bali Maharaj gave everything to the Lord. Bali Maharaj wasn't scared. In fact, he knew that by doing that, he will gain so much more than what he would have gained by not keeping his agreements, would have been only defamed. And so Srila Prabhupada make a point at the end that we can follow in the footsteps of Bali Maharaj. By giving everything to the Lord, we have nothing to lose, really nothing to lose, and everything to gain, and to gain more than we could ever expect to receive, to gain in every way. And Dharma swat nustita pumsam vikshvakshena katasuya natpadayadratiratim shramayavai kevalam. It says that whatever effort we can put in our life, whatever effort to economic development, effort towards relationship, effort in any direction we may put effort into, they are just a waste of time. That it's just a waste of time if it's not connected with the worship of the Lord. If our efforts are not connected, then they are all zeros. If we don't put the one in front of the zero, then zeros, no matter how many zeros we may have, there is absolutely no value. Absolutely no value. We can have conquered the whole universe. We could have conquered everything like Bali Maharaj. But if the Lord is not there, if we are not serving the Lord, then we have gained nothing. We have gained nothing because at the end of our life, everything we have conquered, we left it behind. So, we want to remember that what is the purpose of life, and so dharmasya yapavargasya nartotayo pakalpati nartasya dharmaikantasya kamolabaya ismuta. Said like all occupational activities are ultimately made for ultimate liberation. They should never be done for material gain. So that's it. Whatever we do is made for ultimate liberation, and they should never be done for material gain. So we can see how the modern civilization and the way we are trained is quite the opposite. It's a complete opposite. The complete opposite. We are brainwashed. We are completely brainwashed to think that all our occupational activities are made for material gain. So we are conditioned, brainwashed in that direction, that there's a fruit and all our occupational activities are made to get that fruit. While the reality of the universe is that those occupational activities are made for self-realization and ultimate liberation. And then the sages, Sutta Goswami said to the sages, he says, furthermore, according to the sages, one who is engaged in devotional service to the Lord should never engage in material gain into sense gratification. So like Bali Maharaj, he did give everything to the Lord. He gave everything to the Lord, all his material gain. And then he got so much. He got a planet that had Sutala planet. And in that planet, it's a lower planet in the lower planetary system, in the Sutala planet. That planet is described having more opulence than Indraloka. There was more opulence, like Bali Maharaj, he gained more than what Indra had. And because he's a devotee, he got Krishna as a doorkeeper for his place. So he gained so much more than he could have gained by trying to protect his valuables. So that's something we can meditate on and put our desire, really direct our desire toward giving up everything, towards giving everything to Krishna. Trusting Krishna enough that we are able to surrender, like Bali Maharaj, to not hold on, like Gajendra. We heard the story of Gajendra on Sunday. And Gajendra, he was like Draupadi. He was trying to protect himself. He was to protect himself for 1,000 years. He was there thinking, I'm going to conquer the crocodile. I'm going to conquer the crocodile, holding down to his own strength, thinking he can do it by himself. And as long as he was thinking he could do it by himself, then he was alone with the crocodile in the water. And the crocodile was a lot stronger than he was. And that's it. As long as we think we can do it by ourselves, we are beaten by the crocodile of the material energy. But when we are beaten by the crocodile of the material energy, if we still think we want to fight and I can do it by myself, we are all alone. We are all alone because we are creating that being alone. And then as Gajendra did, as soon as he surrendered, he didn't fight anymore. He just surrendered, remembered the Lord, chanted his mantra, and then he picked up a lotus flower, and that's it. He wasn't fighting anymore. He picked up a lotus flower, offered it to Vishnu, and in that moment he gained everything. He won the battle against Maya, against the crocodile, and he get the protection of the Lord and the blessing of the Lord. So we can all see like what's our crocodile and what is it that we can do in our life today and in the next week that will be like Bali Maharaj, where we let go of control, where we don't trust false gurus that tell us that we need to make money, we need to protect our belonging, we need to just keep everything for ourselves. Like, where are our false gurus and where can we like close our ears, not listen, and give everything to the Lord? Yeah, so I'm going to stop here, and tomorrow we'll have not tomorrow, Friday it will be to be continued. Friday we'll have more stories about Bali Maharaj and the pure devotee, and how Krishna glorified Bali Maharaj. I'm going to read the verse again. Yam guner avarajo pyadite sutanam lokam vichakramamimam yadatat atadiyagya shmam vamanena jagriyeti tripadat shalena yachnam rite paticharam prabhupirna chalya. The Lord, also transcendental to all material modes, still surpasses all the quality of the son of Aditi, known as Aditya. The Lord appeared as the youngest son of Aditi, and because he surpassed all the planets of the universe, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. On the pretense of asking for a measurement of 3 footsteps of land, he took away all the lands of Bali Maharaj. He asked simply because without begging, no authority can take one's rightful possession. Any comment, question, challenges?
I was really struck by it, and towards the beginning of that class when you were talking about just Vamanadeva's beauty. Yeah, I remember those verses when they're talking about his beauty and qualities and his form. They are like, I think they're some of the most beautiful verses I've read in the Bhagavatam. I'm wondering, one thing that came up for me around like Brihaspati and Aditi. The Kashyapa Muni and Aditi is like, why Vishnu? Like, so Aditi prays to Vishnu for him to come help her, and does she have like this desire for him to be her son? Does she have like this Vatsalya mood, or does he just come like that? And like, for me, it's challenging to think of like, yeah, like him like coming into Kashyapa Muni's sperm, and then like Kashyapa Muni like sensing that, and then like giving that seed to his wife. I don't know, it feels like this strange, convoluted thing. And it's challenging for me not to look at it as like grossly materialistic because it's so like sexual. Or for me, it seems like so sexual or gross. Like Shukracharya is like semen acharya, but then like Vishnu's coming in semen and like.
Yeah. Yeah, so you appreciate the beauty. Yeah, me too. Like, I remember, I didn't read it like yesterday or recently, but I remember those descriptions, and now Vamanadev is so attractive and is embodiment of the beauty of the Lord. And this description is so dandy and so delicate and a beautiful, attractive personality. And so your question is, okay, the Lord, when he comes, so he comes, Aditi is praying, she's praying to save her other sons, really, the demigods. And then she does a lot of austerity, and Lord Vishnu comes, and then she asks him to come as her son. And the Lord agreed to that. And the Lord agreed to that, and he first appeared in the mind of Kashyapa Muni. And then through the semen of Kashyapa Muni gave, like the presence of the Lord in the womb of Aditi. And you see, like, it seems so sexual. It seems so like material in a sense that the Lord will take the copulating way of human being in order to manifest himself. Yeah. And it's explained also with Vasudev. The same thing is explained, that the Lord came first in the mind of Vasudev, and then Vasudev gave it to Devaki. So it's hard for you to compute. It's difficult to see that. And in one of the verses or purport something, they say, Aditi does have a part of herself that serves that Vasya in her previous lives, something, I don't remember the name that she has in her previous life, but yeah, so why not? Like it's the same thing, like we make a list of what the Lord can do and cannot do, then the Lord, he can appear, because he did appear in front of Aditi, he appeared without needing to go to the semen of Kashyapa Muni, and she asked. So the Lord can fulfill the desire of his devotees, and for her and their Prajapatis, that's how they do their service. And it's have nothing to do with sex, it's service. Like devotees, when they copulate together, it's has nothing to do with sex, it's service. And in that service, there may be pleasure, but it's a service, and that's how the mechanism of birth work. And then the Lord choose to follow that mechanism. That's a mechanism that he gave to the Prajapati, to follow that mechanism in order to take birth from his mother Aditi. So I hear that for you, it's difficult. It's difficult to compute, to put together, and yeah. So my understanding is that that's a mechanism that is given to the Prajapati. Of course, the first beings, they come in a different ways, but after that, as soon as there is enough men and women, let's say, bodies, then that's a mechanism. The mechanism is to, and it's a mechanism for the universe. You know, there is Lord Shiva in a form of how's it called? The linga, and you know, it's described in a Brahma Samhita that even the creation of the universe kind of follows that too, with the material energy being the mother, and Vishnu to the agency of the linga, like impregnated the material energy with the living entities. So also at the origin of the universe, it's the same mechanism. And that mechanism, you know, we look at it as something dirty, or because it's something so perverted, and so only used not for material gain, for material pleasure. And so because of that, because of the perversion of it, and because like everything in Krishna's creation, we can use it for service of Krishna, it's purified, it's beautiful. And if we use it for sense gratification and for material gain in that way of sense gratification or material gain of children, then it's a perverted way. And so we relate to sex in that way. However, sex in itself is Krishna said in a Bhagavad Gita that is sex according to regulative principle. So it's beauty of Krishna, is the strength of Krishna. It is Krishna. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. That definitely helps integrate that a lot more. And I can acknowledge like how much, and I think my question, like I'm acknowledging how much it's like my own conceptions and conditioning around sex that like makes it challenging for me to wrap my head around it. And I like what you said about like how you're mentioning that in both instances that you mentioned, like Shakyamuni and Vasudeva, like first they like have like a vision of Krishna, or like Krishna's coming to them in their mind. And this, for me, that helps because it's like from subtle to gross, it makes sense. Like they hold Krishna in their consciousness, right? And then Krishna is manifesting through, you know, a physical form, but it's like first that there's like this inception through this meditative and loving sort of trance, you know, that then manifests as a physical action. And I appreciate the distinction between sex as a service juxtaposed with like sex as like an exploitative act.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, I like your point from subtle to physical. Yeah, that's a process. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the discussion. Yes, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Malini. Yes, for highlighting some of the very important points in this verse and purport. Just in the 10th canto purports, verses and purports in regards to this discussion, Prabhupada writes very clearly that Vasudeva, Krishna appeared within him, Vishnu appeared within him, and he transferred Vishnu to his wife Devaki through the process of diksha. It specifically says through the process of Divyagan, he was in the role of the spiritual master, and he gave Divyagan, he gave diksha, and that's the transcendental process through which Krishna was transferred. So just that purport came to mind in hearing the discussion.
Yeah. It's interesting because even here, like, it's not Kashyapa. The first thing that was done is Aditi. doing service, rendering service to our spiritual master Kashyapa Muni. So that's parallel.
And if I remember correctly about the different transmigrations, it's described in Krishna book 10th canto that in a previous life Vasudeva and Devaki were Kashyapa Muni and Aditi. So it's the same personalities.
Yeah, and there is something before them, but I don't remember the name.
I think it may have been Krishni Garba and Sutapa. Krishni Garba.
That's it. Krishna Gaba, yeah. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, yes, Sarva Vatsalya, us, Mother, Father of the Lord, all of your life. Anything else? Kantora Shrimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai.